Last time, a broken treaty dragged the world back into war. German forces struck Poland, Britain and France declared war, but Poland faced an impossible fight. While German tanks crushed them from the west, Stalin's Red Army invaded from the east, fulfilling the secret Nazi-Soviet pact. By early October 1939, Poland was erased from the map, split between two dictators in weeks. And then, the momentum stopped. The wider European war everyone braced for froze, leaving behind a strange and tense vacuum of inaction. Newspapers dubbed it the Phony War. For months, Western Europe sat in trenches, waiting for an attack that never materialized. The Allies expected a slow, methodical fight. They placed their faith in massive concrete structures like the Maginot Line seen here, spending a decade fortifying the French border. They believed they were dictating the pace of the conflict. They had no idea the enemy across the border was operating on a timeline they couldn't even comprehend. The silence broke in April 1940. Hitler launched a sudden, highly coordinated strike into Northern Europe. He targeted Denmark and Norway, aiming to secure vital access to iron ore and establish naval bases directly on the Atlantic coast. Denmark fell in hours. Norway held out longer, but by June, the occupation was absolute, as the soldiers parading through the streets show. The illusion of a stagnant war was dead. The true velocity of the German war machine had finally been unleashed. On May 10, 1940, Hitler turned that machine directly onto Western Europe. Instead of attacking the heavily fortified Maginot Line, German forces simply walked around it, pushing through Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. To make this work, they routed their armored divisions through the dense Ardennes Forest, a natural barrier the French considered impassable. As you can see here, Panzer tanks navigated right through the muddy terrain and dense timber, catching French commanders entirely off guard. Within days, hundreds of thousands of British and French troops were forced backward, trapped against the coastline with the enemy closing in. This single bold maneuver rendered a decade of French defensive planning useless. Static walls could not stop mobile warfare. The Allied army was cornered at Dunkirk. With the sea at their backs, they faced total annihilation. Britain responded by calling in the civilians. A makeshift fleet of nearly 900 vessels, fishing boats, yachts, and ferries crossed the English Channel. They operated under intense enemy fire. Soldiers waded into the exposed waters waiting for rescue. Over 338,000 men were pulled off those beaches. It was a massive rescue, but it was not a victory. Churchill himself called it a colossal military disaster. Dunkirk kept the British Army alive, but the reality was clear. The Allies had been outpaced and outmaneuvered by a faster enemy. France could not recover. On June 14, 1940, German forces marched into Paris, and the swastika flew over the Eiffel Tower. 6 weeks earlier, France held one of the most powerful militaries in the world. Now it had completely collapsed. This map shows the terrifying new reality. Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and now France. Almost the entire European continent was under Axis control. Hitler had dismantled the traditional European order and conquered the continent in less than a year. Only one country stood in the way. Britain was now completely isolated, geographically cut off, and vastly outnumbered. Winston Churchill stood before Parliament and made a promise. Britain would fight on the beaches, fight in the fields, and never surrender. He had to prove it. Across the Channel, Hitler was already assembling a massive invasion force. But to launch a successful invasion across the water, the German military first had to achieve absolute control over the sky. The burning skyline of London marked the beginning of a desperate new phase of the conflict, the Battle of Britain. The survival of the free world now rested entirely on a few hundred pilots, and the question of whether the unstoppable German war machine could finally be broken in the air.